Have you ever had the experience where you know you should do something like go to work on time or get ready for an important meeting or just brush your teeth before bed, but you just couldn't do it? I'm Anna Runkle, also known as the Crappy Childhood Fairy, and everybody procrastinates sometimes, but for people who experienced abuse and neglect in childhood, procrastinating can morph into a paralysis of sorts. I've had this happen. I've spent whole seasons in this place before, and I'll tell you, it is so demoralizing when it's happening to know that you're here in this world to do something good, but something in you is not letting you do it. So what is that, and how can we change? In this video, which is part of my series on resilience for people with childhood PTSD, I want to talk about one of the strengths that helps us overcome the big obstacles that can hold us back. And in this video, the obstacle we're looking at is paralysis. We literally find ourselves unable to take positive action on our own behalf, both in little day-to-day things and in big matters affecting our whole life path. So what's going on when we can't act? Honestly, I think that doing things, committing ourselves, spending energy, creating something out of nothing, it's hard. I love sharing videos with you, but the week before I shoot them each month, I'm dying of avoidance because making these videos takes days of preparation, probably about 6 to 8 hours of focused creative work for each video. And when it's time to plan the content, oh my gosh, I suddenly just get so interested in balancing my checkbook and cleaning my sandals and buying some new hair clips online. And it makes no sense because releasing these videos is the great joy of my life, but doing the work that leads up to that moment is hard. For people with childhood PTSD, especially when there's a lot of unhealed stuff, you're in a state of stress pretty much all the time, everything is hard. And people who don't have childhood PTSD have no idea how much work it is for some of us just to do ordinary things. It's exhausting and it's stressful. People are hard. Sticking to a schedule is hard. Expressing yourself is hard. Making money is hard. But you know what's harder? Not doing these things. And that's why I don't recommend you make a big accommodation for yourself and tell yourself that the solution is to just avoid everything that's stressful for you. Because in the end, the path of least resistance is to do these things anyway. That's how they get easier, and that's how you get happier. Okay, if you have childhood PTSD, maybe it doesn't make sense to just run out there and go for it and force yourself to do everything at once. Maybe it's just a little at a time. But I'll tell you what the solution is not. The solution is not to give up on yourself. Don't identify with the trauma and mistake paralysis for self-care. Your strength lies in action. Action taken in right proportion to your capacity. Don't wait until it feels right for you to start brushing your teeth. Just take that one step and do it, even when you're tired, just for practice, just to stretch yourself. And then the next day, clean the kitchen. You know the good actions that you need to be taking next. You may have to push yourself, not like a maniac, but you might have to push yourself some every day. You know that saying you hear sometimes about not being a human doing, but being a human being? Well, it's a good sentiment, but doing and being are both really important. And doing is how we earn a living, and it's how we express ourselves. How are you going to become fully yourself if you don't do things? The more I heal, the more there's things I want to do. Like creating Crappy Childhood Fairy was on my mind for 20 years before I had the inner power to do it. And I'm so glad I did. It's a lot of work on nights and weekends, and I'll tell you, part of me would really rather be watching Netflix. Really, I love this era of great television and streaming shows, and it bums me out that I can't watch more of it. But I'd be even more unhappy if I knew that I could be the Crappy Childhood Fairy, but I didn't make the effort. And that is what it feels like to have life pass you by. So I take action, and I encourage you to take action too. Like all the strengths in my Resilience series, action is something that you can begin immediately and do a little every day. Big bursts of action, they're nice, but even better are small, consistent actions. They get you there too, but they give you just a little breather between actions so that you can equilibrate, you can balance yourself out and handle the stress that life gives you every time you put yourself out there with action. Small actions taken consistently are like super vitamins for childhood PTSD. If you were constrained from letting your light shine in your life, your spirit is going to love this. You're getting somewhere, and accomplishment feels really good. When we keep taking small actions every day, adventure follows. You may or may not reach the goal. You may not even want the goal in the end, but the act of taking small steps towards it will increase your feeling of being alive and open up your life to all kinds of unexpected connections and possibilities. You're in the game. You're open for business. Your strength is action.